Hello everyone. So you all investors and enthusiasts must have come across this decision of which stock to buy or which sector is performing better than the other or where the opportunity lies. Well, as an investor, this decision is very basic or a fundamental one surely does ask. The investment of energy time in this decision taking is worthwhile. This decision is very crucial at a time of black swan events or some extreme bullish events. This decision is a saver in this kind of events. So here in this video, I'm going to do the trend analysis on some sectors. I'm going to track the performance from the financial crisis or from the start of the like April 2006 till now, like how these sectors have performed during these different periods, and also the all the companies in these sectors how they have performed. I'm going to give you some key takeaways from the analysis and where you can use the past information to learn the future, to invest in the future, and where you can seek the opportunities, which sector perform better, which company is doing better or beating the index. I'm going to do this all analysis with respect to BSC 100. So I'm going to take you to some of the fundamentals, the methodology that I have followed during this analysis. Now, I'm going to give you the overview or tell you about the methodology with which I have proceeded with this analysis. I have chosen BSC 100 as an index to do the various comparison with sectors or with different companies in these sectors. I have identified 21 periods. These periods are identified on the basis of the movements in their returns. So what I have done, I have taken BSC 100 returns and any movement more than 10% is recorded. So any movement more than 10% in upward direction, say 11%, 12% returns change, it is called the upward trend. And I have identified 12 such upward trends, and any return which is negative, say minus 10%, which is less than minus 10%, these are called the downward trends. So there are 9 such downward trends. So this includes the 21 periods. I have chosen 3 sectors. These three sectors are consumer durables, BSC metal, and BSC oil and gas. These sectors are chosen on the basis of the analysis of the investment. Well, during COVID-19 crisis, the news analysts or the investors are saying that metal and oil and gas are those shares which they put their eyes on. So I have taken only those shares which does perform better in even in the time of crisis. So these are those sectors. Now I'm going to start with the analysis and how my findings. In the product returns for consumer durable, we see that BSC 100 has given the returns lower than the top 3 performers and top 3 losers, except for the period 2008 and 9, which is the financial year crisis period. The top 3 performers and losers gave returns almost the same, which means in consumer durables index, it is just irrelevant to have chosen a company. Any company would have given the same returns. The sector index does not provide the returns more than the top 3 performers except for the period 2013 and 14. From the Boston and Whisker graph, it is clear that the average period return for losers have the highest variance, so it would be preferable to people with low risk aversion characteristics. Metal company shares have been highly volatile, with the average periodic return for losers being higher than that of toppers for the period April 2006 to June 2008. And then for August 2008 to March 2009, it is seen that average periodic returns for topper being higher than that of loser. And this trend has been followed throughout the period. In the box and whisker graph, it is evident that BSC 100 is the index that has the least variance, that is preferable for people having high risk. BSC oil and gas has remained highly volatile, just like the metal shares, and followed the same trend. Sector index has given the returns more than the top 3 performers, except for the period August 2013 to February 2015. In variance, we see that the average product return for toppers has the least variance, which is preferable to those have the high aversion risk characteristics. Average product return for toppers has not shown any significant result before the 2011 period, but after 2011 it is seen that the BSc metal average product return for toppers is higher than the other two. In variance, it is also clear that BSc matter average product return has the highest variance. So it's validate that with higher risk comes the higher returns. In this, we see no significant like trend. So average product return for losers is insignificant. BSc metal shares have provided the highest return throughout this period, except for the year 2011 to 12. BSc metal shares has also the highest variance, that is highly volatile share. Now we'll do the trend analysis. The sector-wise trend analysis can be covered in the sector-wise analysis. We'll start with the BSc 100 trend analysis. We see an ascending trend followed throughout January 2020. Afterward, and downward trend can be seen. This downward trend, the reason for this downward trend can be attributed to the COVID-19 crisis. Now we start with the sector-wise analysis of different sectors. We start with consumer durables. Here we see that an ascending trend has been followed till April 2020. In this analysis, we created a dashboard type of these 6 companies and comparing them with BSc 100 and BSc of consumer durables. We see that none of the companies were indexed following the same trend. So none analysis is followed. In this, we are comparing the fundamentals of the company. We have taken 5 aspects which are PE, PB, ROE, EPS and debt to equity. After analysis, we have seen that those companies having the higher PE are called the overpriced shares, and those with lower PE than the industry are called underpriced shares. Titan, Whirlpool, Rajesh Expo and Blue Starco are overpriced shares. In PV, we see that those companies having the PV higher than the industry, that is the price to book value higher than the industry, are growth shares, while others are value shares. Titan has the highest ROE, which means its returns must be rising faster and falling slower. TTK Prestige provide the highest earnings to its shareholders, while Whirlpool and TTK Prestige are also companies which have the zero equity, that is an zero debt, that is an all equity company, and its shares must be rising faster and falling faster. Another, we see the analysis of metal. We see that a trend which is slightly declining is seen till April 2020, followed by a recession. In analysis of this, we see that the BSc Metal and Vedanta Limited follows the same trend throughout the period mentioned. None other companies are seen following any trend from this dashboard analysis. In the fundamental analysis, we see that Hindalco Industry is the only share which is overpriced, and companies like SAIL and Jindal are highly underpriced companies. In PV, we see that Hindustan and Hindalco and JSW Steel are value shares, growth shares, while others are value shares. Hindustan Zinc has the highest ROE, whereas Jindal Steel has the JSW Steel has the highest earnings to shareholders. We see Hindustan Zinc has the lowest debt to equity ratio. In this, we make an observation that Hindustan Zinc is the company that has the highest PE, which is a growth share, and it is also giving the highest returns to its shareholders, whereas its debt to equity is also quite low. So it is a company to look forward to on the basis of their fundamentals. Now we'll do the analysis of oil and gas. We see that an ascending trend has been observed till January 2020. While it is seen till January 2020, then a downward trend can be seen, which is the reason of the COVID-19 crisis. Then in the dashboard analysis, we see that S&P BSc 100 and S&P Oil and Gas follows the same trend except for the period 2007 to 2009. S&P BSc 100 and ONCG also follows the same trend. Now, talking about the fundamental analysis of the 6 companies, we see Reliance Industry Limited is a growth and overpriced share, while it has also given highest to its shareholders. while IGL is an overpriced and a growth share having the highest ROE, while it is an all equity company, which means its gap equity is zero. So its shares must be rising faster and following faster also. Key takeaway of this presentation are BSE Metal Sector Index had the highest return and has been highly volatile throughout the period. Companies having the highest ROE, their shares must be rising faster and falling slower. Companies with a DAP equity of less than 1 have significantly outperformed the companies with a DAP equity of more than 1 during this 3 to 5 frame zone. Value companies have performed better than the growth companies on a long-term basis. So, thank you for listening here.